Hello, how are you? So glad to see you in my mind. I have to use my imagination. And I tell you, we used to come on at 12 noon, but we had some technical difficulties. And we got those handled. I want you to like this page and share it, like it and share it, because it's going to be a message that I believe that will resonate with you as it did with me. And it's something that I want you to think about your goals and dreams. Think about the things that you've said that you want to do with your life. And I think that this conversation that I'm going to have with you now will help you to begin to move with a sense of urgency, become more purposeful in how you approach your life and how you use your time, because of the fact that time is the lifeblood of life. And what you do with the time that you have left on the planet. Dealing with the coronavirus has done something for me. It helped me to begin to face the reality even more so that I have an expiration date, and not in a morbid sense, because nobody's figured out how to get out of life alive. But I was in a conversation with Jerry, one of my business partners, and he said something that really grabbed me, and it kept me up last night. And he said, and I want you to write this down, the journey that I have traveled up to this point is longer than the journey that I have left. Listen, I don't know whether or not this is making any sense to you. If that makes any sense to you, what he said, if it does it make you think? I want you to put yes in the comment section. Yes in the comment section. The journey that I have traveled so far is longer than the journey that I have left. He said that. I'm 75. And so this journey that I've been on, all the things I've done, all the things I've seen, all the things that I experienced, all the things that I have learned, that journey is longer than the journey that I have left. And it was something that I don't know whether or not that hits you like it hit me. How much time do you have left? I don't know. And so therefore, when you look at your life in that context, at least for me, I'm looking at doing several things. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, I want to talk to people who are hungry to make an impact with their lives, who are hungry to make this year and all the years after the greatest time in your journey in this experience of life, the best you've ever had. That's who I want to talk to, because a lot of people don't know we're going to leave here. It's a part of the process. It's one of the seasons of life. And one of the seasons of life is enlightenment. One of the seasons of life is that you go through some stuff. One of the seasons of life is that you reach points in your life that you have some major breakthroughs. This was a breakthrough moment as I looked at and started reviewing what I'm going to get out of this year. There's no conversation that people are having now about Happy New Year. They're through saying those celebratory things now. But when I'm looking at my life as a father, as a grandfather, and as a great grandfather, that what I do, how I approach my life, how I use my time, who I spend time with, who I will even get a telephone call from and speak to, that this is the time, and I want you to write this down. I want to share some points because my goal is to finish strong. I want to finish strong. I don't want to just casually get to the end of life and, oh, well, that was a nice ride. No, no. My goal is to finish strong. There's some things that I want to get done in 21. And I'm looking for some people who feel the same way. But how many of you listening to me right now that you want to finish strong? I want to see yes. Let me see the yeses. See the yeses. I want to see those. I want to finish strong. See, here's what I know about this thing called life. It is so unpredictable. Unpredictable. And unlike any time that I've ever experienced in being on the planet, I've never been in a place where you are mindful of the very air that you breathe. There's two things you need in this thing called life that I know that's required. One is the ability to breathe. That's major. Without breath, you can't be here. Either you or a machine connected to you, that has to help you with the process. And so to me, at 75, the journey that has brought me this far, this journey that I've traveled through God's grace and mercy that allows me to be here now talking to you, that journey is longer than the journey that I have left. And my goal and my commitment with my life and the time that I have left is to teach people how to make this year, to get it done in 21 and the years thereafter, the best you spent on the planet. Because you've gone through some stuff. You've lived through some stuff. You survived some stuff. You've made some stuff happen. You've made some mistakes. Some things have happened to you. And you've had some impact and you've created some stories. See, I believe that all of us are born with stories of greatness within us. And then as we go through this experience called life, you wake up one day and you say, where did time go? I asked my son 3 times today, what day is this? Tell me again, John Leslie. And the reason I didn't say what day it was, he told me, already forgot. This is what happens when you turn 75. You forget things. Oh my God. Will somebody please put in the comment section what day it is? Oh my God. I used to ask my mother, Mama, why do y'all say, I thank the Lord for waking me up in my right mind this morning every Sunday? She said, don't worry, you live long enough, you'll find out. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Let me collect myself. Okay, so I'm thinking about that, and so the question becomes, to me, what are you going to do now on this journey that you have? If you, the journey that you have left, the path and the place where you are now, and as you look ahead and you look back, I said the other day, I said, look back and thank God. Look around and praise God. Go within and seek God, and look ahead and allow God to order your steps. Follow his word. And so this journey that I'm on, and knowing that the distance ahead for me is shorter than the distance I have come thus far. I want you to write this down, please. Write this down. And that is, live with a sense of urgency. Live with a sense of urgency. And people that are living with a sense of urgency, they spend their time doing things, one, that's them. That's them. This, what I'm doing now, This is me. It's not work. I can give a speech. I've given a speech. I was sick to my stomach. I was hurting in my body, going through all kinds of challenges. But when it was time, I remember I was at this event and my son Calvin was with me. And I'd been suffering from sciatica pain. And so he brought me in back of the stage. And there I was having challenges walking. But he brought me in a wheelchair because I couldn't stand up at that time because of the sciatica pain. And then as we were waiting backstage for the person to introduce me, I noticed Calvin didn't say anything to me. And usually before I go out to speak, we will have a conversation. He will give me some idea of something that came to him that would be helpful to my presentation. And I'm saying to myself, why is he not saying, Dad, you can do this. You got this. Knowing that here I am sitting in this wheelchair backstage. I've never done this before. And I don't know if I have the strength and the energy to stand up and be on that stage and give a speech. They had a stool out there for me to sit on, but how does he know? What's up with that? Why is he not giving me the motivator some motivation? I'm human. I need some motivation too. And so when they introduced me, he opened the curtain and they had the microphone right in front of that opening where it was. And I walked to it. I only had to take about 3 or 4 steps. And I grabbed the microphone and I gave the presentation, got a standing ovation later. So when he wheeled me back to my room, I said, Calvin, why didn't you say something to me that would encourage me and give me the mindset that I can give this speech today? He said, Daddy, when I saw how close the microphone stand was to the curtains, I knew that was walking distance for you. And I knew once you got to that mic and you put your hand on it, that it was done. I knew that sciatica was not going to stop you. I knew that once your hand touched that microphone, you were going to give that speech. And when I saw that, I said, we're okay now. He'll be just fine. And he was right, because once I grabbed that microphone, I went into another place. I went into a zone because I was doing that which I came here to do. It touches me now just thinking about it. You came here to do something. And I'm encouraging you, don't rule it out saying, well, I don't know if you can do it. Well, so what? Eye has not seen. What do you think that means? There's some things that you can do that you've never seen before. We're in a place now where we've never been before. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard, nor is in the heart of mankind what God has in store for you. What's in you that you're able to do? That's why they have a term called breakthrough, that your life is a breakthrough moment. And so when I think about that and think about what I was going to share with you today, that this is a time. I have a friend named Dr. Stan. They call him Dr. Breakthroughs, Stan Harris. And he talks about living your life in a way in terms of having breakthroughs. And I think we should have those in various areas of our lives. That we must live with a sense of urgency, one, and two, and that's making every moment count. And the other thing is have breakthrough thinking. Look at ways in which in various areas of your life that you have breakthroughs, that you take your performance to the next level. That those things that you've been talking about and you've been operating at this level, but now you're at a place now, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to take it to another level. When I was a kid, the high jump in the Olympics was 6 feet. And a guy named John Thomas was a brother who he was a high jumper and had the record in the world. And so during that time, when you jumped, as kids, we played in the backyard. We would have somebody hold a stick and you run, and you would just jump over it. And then, but he developed a strategy. Most people were just jumping forward to jump over it, but he developed a strategy that you could sizzle, and what they call the sizzle, that you raise your leg and that front leg, and then the other leg come behind it, right? Then there's something that came along called the Fosbury flop. Same event, but there's a guy who was named after him. And when he jumped, he was able to raise his body high enough in the air, and he would go over the pole head first and bring the body behind him. Same event, but different strategy. And as a result of that different strategy, he was able to maximize his impact. He was able to jump 7 feet that you couldn't do it physically, just using the method that had been used, or that approach up to that particular point. Now, tell me what you mean, Les. I'm trying to stay with you. Well, here's what I mean. That there's some things that you are doing and that you perhaps have not succeeded using the approach that you now have. And that many people, when they're going after their goals and dreams, they have failure after failure after failure because they are doing something in the same way. That's why Einstein said that thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. And that's when I came to the concept, and I want you to get my book called You Got to Be Hungry. And so what happened is that as you look at your life, a lot of people, when they fail over and over and over again, using the approach that they now are using, they stop. I'm suggesting change your approach, but don't change